Good morning, students. Welcome back. This is your commerce class. So, we were on the chapter of planning. We were discussing all about planning. Yesterday, we had discussed about objectives, goals, and the types of different plans. Today, we are going to study about the topic of procedure and policies. And when we talk about the topic of planning, and in that it's a sub part procedures and policies. So let me tell you, a neighbor is there, my own neighbor. Her name is Jennifer. She is working in RNL Limited and she is CRO of her company. And these days she is given a new employee guide that gives her thorough steps on how to register a customer and input their information. That is how to enter the information about the different customers visiting that company. Actually, that company is a company related with raising of funds, a loan. It's a very small financing company, but she is CRO there. There are key processes she must do in a specific order. For every order, she has to do key processes. Certain paperwork is also required and she is given certain time limit too. If she does not submit the documents on proper time, it may cause a loss of profit for the business and a loss of business will ultimately affect the goal of the enterprise. So, if a particular process is not followed, steps are not followed, and those steps are not time bound, then in that case, service is useless. So, she talked with the boss, and the boss told him to follow a instructional guide. Instructional guide was given to her, and that instructional guide was actually a guide in which all the processes were laid down, that how she has to work according to the needs of the customers and according to the modes of the customer, the different moods in which customers visit the company. She read the instructional guide properly. She started practicing to complete the process, and she decided that she will complete it in a particular period of time, and she will leave no room for interpretation, that she will not make any mistake so that his boss shouts on her, or there may be some misunderstanding, so she continues with her job. It can't be too specific because some situations will require judgment. Okay, now she has learned all about the instruction guide, but though she has learned each and every instructions how to deal with the customers, still it is not specific because some situations require judgment, because every time the customers are not same according to your own creativeness, that what you have thought about the variety of customers, sometimes there may be some different phenomena. So the next day her boss called her in the office, and now she has to give a trial. Actually, she was confirmed about the instruction guide. Now she comes to know that whatever the steps she has guided to perform in front of the customer, they all are in a series, and such a series can be termed as a procedure. What it can be termed as a procedure. So what is it? All procedures should be conducive to the business objective. Whatever you do in your business, whatever you follow in your business, the steps, they should be in the path of achieving your business objective and should be approved. It means they must be tested in prior situations only by the officials then they become standards. So there are standardized procedures. This is called the process of standardization. That thinking about the various series of steps, try them, and if they are successful, then they become standardized. And then many issues and complications arises when she gives the demo, and after that, finally, she was admired by her boss, but she herself added and she said that if the procedure is not followed and it is not properly done, then its misuse and the misinterpretation of the steps will lead to assumptions that you can only assume, you don't have any standard measure to perform. So this will again create a confusion and customers will not be able to be satisfied. So from the given example, what can we conclude? Procedure means a group of tasks typically done in a standard order to achieve a task. Okay, what was Jennifer's group of tasks? That how she has to attend the different customers, listen to them, take their orders, solve their problems. So these were the different tasks and they were done in a standard order because they were approved by the officials. And in this way she is able to achieve her task. The task is to satisfy the end consumer. So in this way we come to know that procedures are a group of tasks. These procedures don't typically change and are performed in the same order to provide standardized and consistent end results. Okay, see the words which I have underlined. Procedures don't typically change. They don't keep on changing every time. You can't change the procedure. They are followed in the same order, the standardized orders, the approved orders, so as to give consistent results. It guides, train, tutorials. Okay, listen. See the words here. Guides, trainings, tutorials. They are the typical methods of communicating process. They are the typical methods of communicating process. Now, when you are explaining a procedure, what you are doing? You are communicating something. If you are conveying certain messages, what you need? You need a guide. You must be trained enough and you must be a tutorial. Tutorial means you must have enough knowledge about the same to guide others. So, for the employees of the organizations, procedures can be implemented to achieve goals. Okay, when we talk about the accomplishment of goals, let me clear you this with the help of an example. Suppose in a business, setting procedures should be very clear and leave little gray area to staff interpretation. So look here, in any business, okay, let's take the business of producing mineral water bottles. Procedures should be very clear. Procedures should be very clear, like from that how is water distilled, how it will be packed, in how much days target is to be completed. Leave little gray area to staff interpretation. Gray area is the a step which is skipped in your series, and in that skipped step you have to tell the organization that what is the requirement of the customer according to the staff only. The features of a clear procedure. Okay, now from this example we can also take out features. So what is the first feature? Procedures are fact driven. They are based on true facts, right? Second, they are concise. They are short. They are concrete to the fact. Instructional. They guide you. And they should be relevant. There should not be any rubbish in your guides. Okay, look around you. All of you, look around yourself. A refrigerator is there. LED is there. Ovens are there in your homes. So, ask your moms that when they bought them, so before their first use, they were given a guide, a manual, user manual to how to use it. What does it contain? It contains a procedure, right? So officials and executives often provide procedures for actions. So what does manual or user manual, the procedures help? They help you in achieving your goals by some actions, and that require documentation. Then first of all, you must list down certain process, and for listing down you must have experimented them. And most important is, it's not every time that your experiment is successful. It may have a negative effect if actions are not performed correctly. So now concluding the topic of procedure. Okay, what is the meaning? A procedure is an established method of accomplishing a task, usually with steps that are performed in a prescribed order. You are performing a task, you are completing an activity with an established method, already prescribed, already attempted, or already judged, and it is performed in a prescribed order, that is one after another. Steps are one after another. You people generally remember, we people, teachers used to tell you that learn the steps, and what do you people ask? Ma'am, can they be learned randomly? No, steps are to be followed in order only. If you complete step 1, only then you can move to step 2. Okay, a very small example. It's a very small example. You now these days you are at home, so you must be, not all of you must be cooking something. So for cooking a particular dish, you are following certain steps, and that steps must be in order. You can't perform the last step first or a middle step in the beginning. It should be in order to have proper taste and presentation. So these systems are basically sequential actions. Sequence means one after another, right? Then actions, a particular way of doing a thing, and they all are designed to complete an activity. These days in the business world, all company operations are broken into categories. Every company has divided their big activities in small activities. And what are they called? They are called processes. So these processes become the company procedures. When they become procedures? Only when they are approved. So these are building blocks. Why they are called building blocks? Because they are the foundation of a business. So procedures don't typically change and are provided in the same order to provide standardized and consistent end results. Again, I am focusing, procedures don't typically change. They do not keep on changing. You can't change, rather you modify the procedure, right? Because procedures are flexible, you change according to your need. And sometimes if you are preparing a dish and an ingredient is missing, so if it is not possible to arrange that ingredient, then we skip the same. Similarly, the actions are performed in the same order as guided, as they are standardized, approved, so that they can give you consistent end result, so that you are sure about that I am going towards the goal only and I will achieve the goal. Okay, now I hope the term procedure is clear. So the next topic for today is policy. So what is a policy? Generally, when we think about the word policy, so we go for government policies like implementation of GST, demonetization, these days lockdown. So they are the government trends, they are government policies, the statements which are released, which are given for the benefit of the nation. And if you talk in context of organization, they are given in benefit for the countrymen or for the benefit of the employees. Policies are general statements. They are given by the heads, they are given by the top level. They help in guiding decision making process. Policies set the boundary. They describe a limit in which you have to make a decision. You can't cross that limit. Okay, an example, suppose if a company is making a policy to sell its product through online marketing. Now the company has decided that we will not do our selling in any retail outlet, we'll only do network marketing. We'll do our selling by e-marketing. So what is it? A new policy for the company. Okay, now we can also add to the types of policy features, that what kind of policies we generally have. You people have done two types of plans. One is standing, other is single use plan. If we talk about the standing plan, standing plan is multiple use plans. Now, policies are also standing plans. They are used repetitively. They are not framed every day. They are guidelines. They are directions how you can achieve your objective. They help in proper execution. And okay, we talked that policies are made at top level, but policies exist at all levels. Why so? Because that once you decided, suppose in the organization you decided that this month our target is the production of 500 tons, right? If for the execution of the same, what happened? That every level will set their own standards and start achieving it. So these policies also serve as models of thoughts and principles. Models is like idols. What you think, what you feel about the society, about your organization, that within the organization boundaries I can achieve. So you present it in the form of a flow chart. So what is it? A policies. Again I am repeating, presenting your thoughts and principles as the basis of organization to make your organization in a better position, and all these thoughts, thinking, the process, when you put it in the form of a flow chart, a model, right, then it is called a policy. Okay class, now we'll start with the different types of policies. First of all, there is basic policy. Basic policy is that is policy laid down by the top management to achieve basic goal of an organization. Basic goal is like suppose social media policy. Some companies are in favor of advertising their each activity in front of social media, but some companies do not want. They only want to display their end product. So what is this? This is their policy, that whether to be a social media member or not. Okay, another policy. See the example, WFH approach. This approach is very common these days. Work from home policy. When you go searching, browsing, so you certain found some links or ads which you skip. Work from home, and moreover on TikTok, you all must be following the same. So even on that, work from home, you can earn this much amount. So what is it? A type of basic policy, right? So first of all, we talked about basic policy. Now if you talk about the basic policy, what is it? It is of two types. First, a policy which is laid down by top management, right? And on the other hand, we can also say a basic policy is also called a general policy. That policy for all. A policy which has to be followed in all the departments of the same organization, because it affects large organization. Suppose these days, okay, now only suppose if after the lockdown is over and almost you can say 2 months are there, the school have been not in proper functions. So if council decides that not to take exams of the board classes and just give them results which were postponed earlier. So it's a general policy, but it will affect a large part of the society. Okay, another example in context of organization is what? You can look here. Financing policy. Financing is arrangement of cash. arrangement of funds, how to raise funds. Then HR policy, human resource, where I will get my suitable employees, how to get them. Then the next is marketing policy. What is a marketing policy? That what are the latest trends in the organization? Am I going in the same direction? Are my products be able to satisfy the needs of the customer? So what is all this? A marketing policy. Okay, now next is departmental policy. Okay, as the name suggests, departmental policy means the decisions, the statements which are released as per the different departments according to their routine activities. And who will do it? The supervisors, the lower management. Okay, what is the example here? Suppose handling of cash, accident reporting, hiring, timeline practices. So what is timeline practice? A timeline practice is like suppose you are in an area of reception, you are working there, you deal with clients. So whosoever visit the organization, you make a list of the name of all clients, state the reason why they are coming there. So this is the policy of the department that we have to keep a record and contact of each client. So whatever there is a need, we consult them. Next is your implied policy. Implied is neither written nor verbal. Neither they are written nor they are verbal. Verbal means you are not conveying it, but they exist in a company. An employee gives notice to an employer and employer counter offers with a raise. Okay, implied policy. Suppose a very small example. Your test dates are announced. It has been announced that you will be giving exams on the following dates. So it is implied that you have to bring all the related material you need while the examination goes on, and moreover you have to go through the whole syllabus. So this is a part of policy on your behalf, right? But if you talk about the school, what is their policy then? Making you aware about the subject, clear your doubts, and to see that you are preparing or not, motivating you. So what is it? A implied policy. So here example is employee gives notice to an employer and the employer counter offers with a raise. So example is employee gives notice to employer that I'll be leaving the organization after a month, and employer counter offers with a raise. If the employer signs, he accepts, or if he wants to deny, he'll ask for a reason. Okay, next is your functional policy. Next is your functional policy related to various functional areas of management. Different functions performed, like the function of finance, the function of production, the function of marketing, the function of personnel or personnel, right? So what is personnel? Human resource, the employees of the organization. So it relates to various functional areas of management. For example, McDonald's on the basis of franchising. So you visit outside and you see there are different outlets of McDonald's. So McDonald's, no doubt, it's a branch everywhere and its headquarters is in abroad. But the one who wants to have a dealing with McDonald's, they get their franchisee. So it's a functional policy that you are applying for their dealing and you are getting the same. Okay, next comes your written and verbal policy. Written is in the form of a statement, right? If you give it in the form of a statement, then it is a written policy. For example, orientation policy. Orientation is making a person familiar with the organization. If a new person enters, how to make him familiar. Then training policy, that you are training someone You are imparting knowledge how to perform activities. Time reporting policy, that this is the time when you have to report in the organization, you have to mark your attendance, and this is your departure time. So what's a time reporting policy? So these are written policies. Then if we talk about verbal policies, they are communicated orally, like telephone orders, you are giving instructions on telephone. Verbal medication order, these days verbal policies are generally made for hospitals especially. They give orders to their staff members to have a safe and legal practice and to make themselves safe also. Then anti-harassment policy. Okay, see, anti-harassment policy, and it's a complaint procedure. Suppose you are in the market and you have been exploited by a dealer. Now this is anti-harassment policy. It's a verbal policy. Now you can give a complaint in the registrar office or wheresoever required that I have been a aggrieved party. So if you talk about the next topic, that is policy manual. Okay, while starting the lecture we had done one point, that is user manual, a series of steps, a procedure. Now this is a policy manual. When all the policies are written and they are compiled in a book, when you are making a record of all policies, what is it then? A policy manual. So why is it necessary? Why to prepare it? What is the need? First of all, to avoid misunderstandings, you have a record of the same. To reduce misrepresentation. Now you are doing whatever you have already decided. Your guidelines are ready. Now you have to act accordingly. For guidance and reference, for further guidance, for having a future prospect, you are preparing a policy manual. And for easy review is feedback, that whether you are going in the same direction or not, you are taking your responses. So next is content. So what does a policy manual generally has? It starts with introduction, right? Introduction of the organization. What is the organization all about? How does it deal with? In which areas it is specialized? Next is governance, all the rules and regulations which they have to perform. Then planning, that what are the key areas in which they are working, what quality they want to produce, how they will deal with their customers, how are they are going to give their service. Next is management system, a hierarchy, that top will be the manager, then the supervisors, then departmental heads, foremen, workers, right? Next is processes, procedures and control. Now you have to list down the activities in the form of a process, that how activities goes in your organization, a proper procedure. Next is resource management, most important, how you are getting your funds, where you are going to use it, where will be your raw material converted into, how you are getting your raw material, what will be the transportation charges, each and everything you already decided in your policy manual. Okay, now this was all about your today's lecture. So I hope you have understand the topics of policies and procedures. Now you have to answer, first of all, what are standing plans? What are standing plans? How are they useful? First question. Second is discuss the features and need of policies. Now look at the third question. Draw out a policy manual. I have listed you all the contents, that how does a policy manual, the first content page of a policy manual, like you prepare your files for a particular topic. Similarly, now you have to make a manual of an imaginary company, say it be a stationery company, a marketing company, and you have to illustrate different types of policies like we have already discussed. The verbal policy, written policy, basic policy, implied policy, departmental policy. You have to frame the policies there. For more clarity of the concept, you can visit the link do refer the link so that you can have a clarity of the concept and you are able to answer questions. Last is, what are procedures? Discuss their features, importance and limitations. Thank you. Have a good day.